I'm Sam from Seen Through Glass, and the latest car that TrackWorthy have hooked up from my time in LA is this 2016 Cadillac ATS-V. Now you may remember, or you may have seen that a few weeks ago I was driving the Cadillac ATS-V, the big brother of this car. This is the ATS-V, which is much more aimed at the BMW M3, M4, rather than the CTS-V, which is aimed at the sort of M5. So that gives you an idea of size, but let me give you an idea of power. We are cruising around in a twin-turbo V6 with 464 horsepower, does 0 to 60 in about 4.2 seconds. This thing is a powerhouse. It is bright red, which makes me extremely happy because I love colourful cars. And my God, this thing picks up speed like nothing else. Around these canyon roads, the twin turbo has so much torque. You can just sit in second gear and it's like a roller coaster. You just hold on for dear life. Whoa, point and square. It is an absolute tool. I'm going to take it out of track mode because that's what I've been in for the last half an hour, and my fuel economy hasn't exactly been performing well. So let's go back into sport for a bit, come out of second gear and go into third. We are, as you may have just noticed, in a manual. So you can get this car in a 6-speed manual as well as the auto. When I was in the automatic CTS-V, at the beginning it took me a while to get used to the gearbox, but then I actually really enjoyed it, and it was a very comfortable city cruiser. When I found out that I was going to get a manual ATS-V, I was actually really excited because I thought smaller car, more nimble, more throwable around, it would be fun to have a manual gearbox. However, the downside is I am in LA right now, which is traffic central. So you come up onto a canyon road and it's good fun, but most of the rest of the time it's just a little bit clunky. So I think I probably still would pick the automatic gearbox rather than the manual, but I'm not going to complain. I'm going to enjoy the experience for sure. And as I say, this engine is so torquey that on a road like this, which is just narrow, turning all around, you can just leave it in second gear and have so much fun. Top speed of this car, about 189 miles an hour, so again, it's straight line kind of weapon. And what I love is, from the front, this car to me looks super aggressive. If you see this coming in your rear view mirror, you are going to get out of the way. It is so angled, so pointed, you've got carbon fiber everywhere, and I love that new Cadillac front end. The rear, it's a design thing that you just have to get a bit used to. The car sort of goes up. In general, I actually like the looks of this car. Very American, but I'm going to give it a thumbs up. The interior is a lovely place to be. It's got everything you could want. Alcantara everywhere. Tech for days. It is a very comfortable car to live with. But fundamentally, I think if you're going to buy this car, you're going to be looking for performance. So yes, a twin turbo. Now I don't drive too many twin turbo cars in my life, so getting used to the power delivery has been interesting in the couple of days that I've spent with this car. There isn't really a turbo lag, but there's definitely still some turbo boost. You feel it kick in quite quickly, probably between 3,000 and 4,000 RPM. Mind you, the red line is about 6,500 RPM. And then, as I say, it just goes. So if you are high in the rev range, the torque is unbelievable. I haven't done much highway cruising in this car, so I couldn't probably tell you much about the performance at sort of higher speeds, but at lower speeds, as I say, I mean, third gear, it just wants to go. I mean, there are a lot of corners on this road, so I probably shouldn't try accelerating too much, but you drop it down a gear, second gear, wait, go, 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 and you're on the brakes very quickly. And that brings me on to the brakes. It's probably the one area of performance which I see as a bit of a downside. I think this car could do with slightly bigger brakes. There's something about the feel of them which you pick up speed so quickly, the brakes just it feels like the car's too heavy almost. It just doesn't give you that reassurance. You have to really stamp on the pedal, and I don't know, it's just the one area of the car. it's not a massive negative, it's not an issue, it's just something that I personally would like a little bit more brake feel and a little bit more stopping power. But as I say, it's just addictive, the sort of turbo kicking and the fun that you can have in a straight line in this car. Another sort of performance aimed assistance in this car is Rev Matching. So there's paddles on the steering wheel, as you may have noticed, which is quite weird in a manual car to have what looks like shifter paddles on the steering wheel, but they are actually other controls. So the left-hand control activates active Rev Matching, which for an idiot like me, who is not only a crap driver and crap at manual driving, but in America, so shifting with the wrong hand. In the UK, we shift with our left hand. Here, we're shifting with our right. So basically, driving a manual here has just been a headache for me. Rev Matching, active Rev Matching, is just not only complementing my driving massively, but making the whole experience sound very cool. So I'll give you an example now. We'll shift up to third gear, a little bit of an acceleration, shifting down. The car automatically rev matches, so you get that boost of revs, slot the gears down quickly, and away you go. It is a very cool feature, which is starting to pop up on a few cars nowadays, and I have to say I was quite pleased when I discovered that this car had it. We also get an awesome heads-up display, which is showing me gearing. It has shift lights, which I like a lot. So as you approach, obviously, the red line or the optimal shift moment, the heads-up display indicates that to you with shift lights. We have the gear that we're in, and we have the miles per hour, which I tend not to look at on roads like this because I'm pretty sure most of the time it's above the legal speed limit. All in all, as I say, it's a performance car. It is a lot of fun, this thing, and I think around track you would have a pretty wicked time. It feels a little bit more characterful than the CTS-V. The CTS-V was a straight line weapon, a bullet, engineered, I think, for drag racing. This has got a little bit more character, a little bit more nimble, it's sort of a bit more fun and feels like you could really throw it around. The other thing which I like, which is a controversial point, is the sound. Because in this car, they play the sound through the speakers. So even though we are in a V6 with 460 brake horsepower, it is twin turboed, and twin turboed cars don't always sound as good as naturally aspirated cars. So they decided to amplify it a bit by playing the natural sound or amplifying the sound through the speakers. I like that because I like loud cars. It is maybe perhaps a tiny bit sort of fake or unnatural. Oh, it's so quick. But as I say, it adds to the experience for me, and it reminds you that you're in a performance car. And if you want to dull it all down, you can go into the very dull tour mode, stay in a higher gear, and everything quietens down, it becomes more relaxed, and then you're in your very comfortable city sedan car. But it's not really how I like to live life, so let's get straight back into track mode. So there we have it, my thoughts on the 2016 Cadillac ATS-V. I do think this car looks awesome, and I do think it's also a BMW M3 rival. It is so much fun to drive. It's definitely got the character that I love from cars. It feels like it can really perform well on road or on track or in city. Not that I've driven it on track, but I've driven it on a canyon road and it felt pretty good. So that's my estimation. Make sure you like, share and subscribe.